Hi all. I had an interesting over-the-board game last night against David Brady. This was in the North Circular Chess League. So I was playing with the black pieces on board 2. And by the way, guess what arrived today? Pawn t-shirt arrived today. Yes, my pawn t-shirt arrived today. I could also put this on the screen. Pawn t-shirt. So yeah, check out the description for that. Pawn t-shirt. So quite excited about that. So anyway, back to the game. D4, knight f6, knight f3. And I was dreading here after knight f3. I actually went into a long think. A slight panic. I just didn't want to play against the London system. If I played the normal King's Engine, I suspected the London system would be played to torture me. However, I thought that if I played d5, it's not really that exciting, this either. If white plays, for example, like this, it's not mega exciting, as an example. So I was wondering, should I play my King's Engine or not to knight f3? Yeah, as early as move 2, I'm thinking here. But I did play g6 in the end, and I did see the dreaded bishop f4 move. Bishop g7, e3, I castle here. Bishop e2, and now I played d6. And here, my opponent actually castled. Apparently, well, most players, it seems, play h3 to give this bishop, the dreaded London system torture bishop, the h2 square, to persist that bishop on this diagonal. Because later, sometimes white might want to play c4, c5 later to sort of undermine this pawn structure. So it makes sense. I believe I've seen a game of Andrew Martin featured in one of the chess magazines some time back, where there was a model sort of game with the bishop dropping back to h2, and then later c4, c5 is more powerful. So I believe this is the most popular move to play h3. My opponents, and typically after h3, c5, this kind of thing. Black can fianchetto both bishops, and it's thought to be about equal. But my opponents castled. I thought, hold on a sec. Can't I play knight h5 here? So I did do that to try and grab this bishop. And after h6, this tactical idea seems to work here, g5. If my opponent plays this, he ends up losing 2 pieces, which isn't a good idea. So this seems to be possible to play g5, but he did surprise me with knight fd2, not moving the bishop back. So bishop g3, there have been a few stem games around here. Bishop g3 has been seen before. c5, for example, this could occur, and that's analysis for an even position. But there's actually a stem game with knight d7. That occurred in Leela Chess against Polzin. Polzin was 2-4-4-6, though his opponent's only like 1500. So that game went like this, where black did take on g3, and later put pressure down the center with this battery. That crashed through with bishop takes e4, bishop takes g2. So it got a bit nasty for white there. And yeah, this is the final position. So knight d7, has been seen before there. But anyway, so in the game, knight fd2, hitting my knight. And I wasn't totally familiar with this position, actually. I thought, have I done something wrong? Do I just retreat my knight back? Apparently, retreating the knight back has been seen before in the game Menikowski against Nedev. So a 22-83 versus a 25-23 in the Scopy tournament of 2007. Black managed to win with the knight going back there. So that game went like this, where it seems okay. Black had an okay position, and in fact, it's starting to look good here. So that game with the knight going back, and black got some sort of attack on the h file here. Nice tactic there. So the knight going back is plausible, but I played actually g takes h4 here. So my pawn structure's shattered. And yeah, I'm wondering, okay, have I been the victim of London system preparation here or not? Okay, so bishop takes h5, e5. I played e5 because I'm thinking queen g5 might be useful. So in some cases, c3. Now I played f5. Apparently, knight d7 has been seen before here. In a pretty high-level game, Chernin 23-13 against Sunyanito, who I believe is a grandmaster, played knight d7 here. So that game with knight d7 went like this, where black's trying to undermine white's centre. There looks to be good pressure on that semi-open e file. Black's also potentially using this dynamic g file and giving up that pawn, but there's a lot of pressure now on white's centre. And then back to hit e4, exchange sack, and looks as though, yeah, very interesting exchange sack there, and scooping up a lot of pawns. And then this situation, yeah, black's in the driving seat here, and that's it. White resigned there. So that was with knight d7. There's a stem game there. When I played f5, we have d takes e5. h3, there's also a stem game for h3. There was a game in 2018, Kuznetsov against Bukovsky, which ended in a win for white with this move, yeah, h3 instead. So here in this game with white seems to get good knights, sacked e3, and okay, got a lot of pressure. And yeah, black seems to have a lot of weaknesses over there, but and it carried on like this. h4 dropping, yeah, knight g6. It looks pretty nasty for black there now in the final position. So anyway, d takes was in my game last night. e4, and yes, I installed the dreaded form pawn with h3. Form pawn. Yes, it has been installed. It's left there. So g3 is played. It would fracture white's structure. G takes. This doesn't look pleasant at all from a number of perspectives. F4 and queen h4, that sort of stuff, or even maybe even just taking on e4. Although I wouldn't normally entertain that blockade on the isolated pawn. But yeah, there's horrible things like, I think queen h4 looks particularly interesting there. But anyway, g3, leaving the dreaded form pawn, falling the side pawn. So f4, I played f4 because I didn't want my pawn isolated on e5. We have knight f3. Bishop g4 is plausible, and I was kind of expecting this. After knight c6, bishop takes, queen takes with an even position. I believe offering the b7 pawn here is not so hot an idea. White can get away with this. White's hitting c6. If that protects, white can actually go back to e2 with a good position, a small edge there for white. So anyway, so actually we had knight f3 with an interesting idea of knight h4 to coordinate on g6. We'll get into f5 sometimes, and there's still a lurking queen b3. So I think there are some tactical issues, and I was a bit concerned here tactically. What is going on here? Is my position a bit too loose? Am I, playing with fire these double pawns? But if I was playing with fire, that would be a very strong engine playing with fire. No, queen f6. I played queen f6 here, and we have knight h4. And I thought, hang on, my position seems a little bit harmonious. I just want to connect my rooks. After knight c6, though, queen b3 was played, and I suddenly realised, it dawned on me, hold on a sec. If I go to h7, isn't there stuff like bishop g6. If worse is going to h8, there's knight g6 check, winning the exchange with a big advantage. But actually, it turns out here, I played bishop e6. It turns out actually king h7 might be plausible. This check is not lethal because taking and then knight e7, and for example, this kind of thing is okay. Black's actually doing okay there. There is a lot of compensation pressure. I don't think white can do pawn hunting here. As an example, I mean, it looks to me too dangerous. If there's things like rook d1, that pins the rook. Maybe, you know, there's stuff like this. But the knight, on the other hand, might be defending there. Didn't actually analyze this game. Excuse the improvisation, but it seems intuitively a little bit dangerous, that position. So anyway, here, check. I played actually bishop e6 because I noticed something about this position after queen takes b7. Do you notice what I noticed now about this particular position with queen takes b7? If I give you 5 seconds to pause the video. Okay, black to play here. Okay, the queen actually has given up control of c4. I go into c4 here. That protects, it's a nifty move, it protects c6 and it hits f1. And I've got good coordination against f2 anyway on fg. My opponent played rook d1. It turns out the computer move is knight a3. And on here, it's interesting because there's another aspect to this, not just take on f1, there's an aspect of winning the queen with rook a b8. That's why I describe this as a sort of computer move, because here there's nowhere for the queen to run, and the idea of the computer line is this queen sack, and it turns out that white's actually technically okay here. So yeah, very interesting move technically, knight a3. Knight on bishop takes f1. This position, it turns out it should actually be okay for black. For example, this is okay for black. Black might have a small edge there. So yeah, it's interesting. Knight a3 is an interesting alternative. Rook d1 though was played. Oh, just before we look at another rook d1, knight d2 is interesting to consider. But after this, yes, here, actually, yeah, maybe there's like a potential, yeah, just bishop takes f1 is strong, and then this is just crushing. This kind of thing is just crushing. Black's getting a big advantage. Also, if rook takes f1, then this is trapping the queen again. Queens have to like play queen f7 or something. So anyway, rook d1 was played, and yes, it's bad for white's king safety. F takes g here. Now knight f5 was tried. On h takes g, queen takes f2. There's actually bishop f1 here with the strong bishop g2 idea. So for example, check. And now bishop g2, and this discovered check, although there's no mate on g2, black can just pick up this bishop with a big advantage. If we look at this again with queen takes f2, here, if rook takes f1, yes, then that is getting mated with the fawn pawn traded. Fawn pawn at work there. Okay, so anyway, so knight f5 was played. I played g takes f2 check. And here, it's very, very dangerous. White's king safety is being shot to pieces. If king h1, there's a very strong tactical move. I wonder if you can spot it. If I give you 5 seconds here, black to play. The fawn pawn is covering escape square g2 quite well here. That's a clue. Black to play, you might want to pause the video again. Okay. Queen takes f5 is possible because after taking check, there's not too many options. Either bishop f3 or rook takes. On rook takes, queen checkmate, and bishop f3 doesn't help. That's also a checkmate here. Bishop takes f3 is checkmate. So yeah, there's a neat queen takes f5. I did spot that during the game. So that leaves king takes f2. Black to play here. Test your tactical skills. What would you play with black in this position? I mean, because at first you might think, well, the knight isn't the knight defending key squares, or is it? The power of the pinned piece is illusionary, Nimzovich once said. So there is actually a tactic based on the pinned piece. I hope you found it. You might want another 5 seconds to pause the video. Okay, I'm about to reveal queen h4 check. Yeah, the knight's not guarding h4, it's pinned here. Now, king g1 was played. On king e3, there's queen f4 checkmate. So king g1 was played. And there's the possibility of the knight going back to g3 on queen g5, which concerned me. So, but there's two very strong moves here. I wonder if you spot one of them. 5 seconds here. Okay, I played actually queen takes h5 because I just thought that's looking at the unprotected rook. Also, rook takes f5 is strong as well, with the same sort of idea, hitting the unprotected rook. This would be absolutely all over. This kind of thing is all over. But I played queen takes h5. We have knight d2. Now I did take out f5. I didn't want any knight g3 business. Queen takes a8 check, and we do seem to have a queen in Siberia. When the queen is far, as this t-shirt shows, the king is a bit worried when the king's far away. Yeah. So anyway, rook f8, queen takes f8, bishop takes, knight takes c4. And the game finishes bishop c5 check. Yeah, the bishop and queen are coordinating very well. Black's a material up anyway. If the game continued, king h1, that's checkmate there. So yeah, bishop c5 check, king f1 check, and then mate. Okay, so yeah, I thought I had some issues earlier on in this game. It was an unfamiliar situation with the double pawns. I'm not used to this London system variation at all. And it worked out okay. There's a few stem games you might want to check out in the annotated game, which shows this is kind of a practiced territory here. London systems are very, very popular opening nowadays at all levels. So that's why I thought I'd spring in some stem games to check out. Okay, if you enjoyed this game video, then please click on the top left box, which should appear shortly, to become a member at chessworld.net, play against other YouTubers. You can also test yourself on the variations covered in this game and other game videos from the improved menu, the puzzle books option, which has a link to the annotated game. Comments, questions, donations, see the description. Like, share, subscribes with the notification bell, really appreciated. Thanks very much. Okay, let's have a look at the puzzle book for this game. White to play for a clear advantage here. Yeah, on king h8, that works well for knight g6, winning exchange there without any compensation. Here, black to play for the clear edge. I think here, this is trapping the queen. Rings a bell. Here, I think we can just crash through with the rook and queen. Now here's a nice little trick with the fawn pawn. Oh dear. Anyway, queen takes f5, bishop d5. Nice little tactical trick there. Here just bishop takes f3. Here there's queen f4 check, mate. That seems convincing enough. Here, isn't there just queen takes? Oh, Queen G4. Okay, I think I need a hint. Queen G4. Oh no, yeah, this one. You don't take the rook here. Yeah, I noticed during the game there was Queen. There was this because the pawn here is controlling some escape squares. And here, check on F3 for F2. Okay, yeah, check out this puzzle book and other puzzle books. And also, I've added another famous player. So if you go to the famous player section, this is growing at the moment, the most rapidly, as well as the ordinary game videos. There's Paul Morphy sacrifices and nice game finishes, 142. So if you're a fan of Paul Morphy, get onto Chessbold and check out this puzzle book. So it's got the age indicator, 142 puzzles to check out. Paul Morphy there. Okay, thanks very much.